Uh, I think now is a great time to start. Wishing all of you a very good afternoon again. Thank you for joining us on a Saturday afternoon. I know it takes a lot of grit and strength and a lot of self-control to not be lazy on a weekend and instead join something that can add to your information, add to your knowledge, add to your capabilities. I'll introduce myself. I'm Praneeth. I spearhead the undergraduate business for upGrad abroad, and I overlook the partnerships, the university partnerships for our Indian office of upGrad abroad. upGrad is a higher education platform. It's an international organization. We were set up in 2015 almost. So we're now in our 8th year. And what we're largely doing is we're working with some of the top 500 universities in the world, including Caltech, Purdue, Wharton, which is in the University of Pennsylvania, and more universities to design, develop, deliver their curriculum online. While some of these universities, get supported with us to design and deliver and develop an online course, be it a certificate or a degree. Most of these universities also work with us on a blended format where you do some initial coursework, or maybe 2 out of 12 or 3 out of 12 or 2 out of 10 courses of your master's degree or bachelor's degree here in India, or maybe up to 1 or 2 semesters or 3 semesters or 4 semesters of your bachelor's degree in India, and then you finally move abroad. Similarly, for masters, you do 1 term, which is about 3 months or 4 months of your US coursework in India. And when you go there, you have substantively reduced your study period, but also reduced the living costs. So that is what the upGrad model is about. One of our pioneering partners that started with us about a year ago is called Clark University. Clark is in the top 100 universities in the United States. Clark is also one of the top 500 universities in the world. Clark is in Worcester, Massachusetts. Very close to Boston University, Harvard, MIT. That's the sort of universities that are around that region. And so we've got with ourselves a guest speaker called Krithika Ganesh, who is the campus ambassador for Clark University for a long, long time, for almost a year. Krithika's pursued her Master of Science of Project Management from Clark School of Professional Studies. Now, she's an Indian student. She took one bold, audacious step of going to Clark University, of going to the US for a Master of Science degree in a STEM field, which is science, technology, engineering, mathematics field. And eventually, she's been able to jumpstart her tech career in the United States. So for all of you who know what an OPT is, an optional practical training, she's on one right now. She's finished her course and is now on her OPT. And I know how this is so stereotypical that there's no part-time work in the US. It's difficult, it's hard, XYZ. She's someone who had part-time work inside the campus for most of her student life. So welcome, and we're super glad to host you. And over to you, Ms. Ganesh.
Thank you, Praneeth. It was really nice you talking about me. And yeah, I would like to start introducing myself first. I'm really glad that I'm in this part first. And thank you to you. And thank you to upGrad. So about myself, I've completed my master's in project management, as Praneeth said, from Clark University. And I'm just on my OPT, which is optional practical training. And I'm working as Business Project Analyst at Los Angeles Unified School District. And yeah, and I serve for I do community services here as well. I am engaged in several NGOs, as well as I serve for the National Sales Network Conference as their ambassador, which helps me to network a lot. And yeah, that's it for now about me. Yeah.
Great knowing you. I think the first thing that I'd start this dialogue or discourse with is, what is your background like? What's your academic background like? When did you first start researching about going abroad, and why did you choose the United States? If you want to put a slide deck on, you can also, so here's how we will go. I'll keep on asking you different things, and you can always illustratively make use of your slide deck if you want to explain something in a more comprehensive way. But I think that's my first thing, that, we just want students to reimagine that regardless of where they start, they can still end up and start a life in the US as a student. So, over to you.
Yeah. So I'll go through the presentation first, and then we can, you can open with the questions anytime.
Sure. Everybody else, if at any point you want her to repeat something or you want to ask something specific, please put them down in the Q&A button. I am curating the Q&A box, and I'll make sure that I ask her anything that is genuinely important for us.
Are you able to see my screen? Okay. I don't know. I'm not able to access. So yeah, so this is the Clark University, like where I've studied. So as I already told, like about myself, I can move to the next slide. So like even I had this question, why United States and not why other countries? So when I did my research, like my background is from Bachelor of Management Studies from Bombay. So I started doing research, I believe, when I was in 11th grade, before that as well. So I wanted to pursue master's or undergrad from abroad. So since I'm doing my research since then. So why United States was like, it was obviously individual choice, like which country you want to pursue. And, being an international student, it comes with rules and regulations. It's not always like it's a choice. So what fascinated me was United States, sometimes there are too many opportunities out there comparatively to other countries, I believe. It's not only like the work life, but the work culture and other networking opportunities are more, I believe. It was my experience, actually. So if you see, in United States, there are STEM programs, which gives you an authorization that you spend an amount in your studies, masters, and still you can work for like 3 years. And then eventually, if the company is ready to sponsor for your H-1B, you're still here for more 6 years. So at least you have a stability that you can be here. Nothing is impossible in United States. That's what we believe. And we are here today. So there are too many options with the STEM programs. It comes with CPT, OPT, and co-op options where several universities they provide. And like OPT is obviously 3 years work authorization. CPT comes with internship, plus you can do an OPT. Or if you're enrolling for a non-STEM program, it's just a CPT. And there are actually very flexible options in the US. It's not only for Clark. Actually, US has really flexible options. Like the compulsory one is you have to be in US till like 2 semesters on soil, so that you can be eligible for the CPT or OPT. And sometimes even you can choose your semester back from India, and then you come here and then you pursue more 2 semesters, and still you can finish your master's degree according to your choice, sometimes according to your preference, because you want to work back in India and then you want to come after 1 semester. Even that's fine. Some universities are really flexibility with the programs. So yeah, that's one of the plus point. And then once you finish 2 semesters, you can opt for internship. You can do your internship up to 9 months, and then you can opt for your OPT, which can go for 3 years. So in that way, I think it increases more of your professional development. You can network more, and yeah, you can switch your career anytime. And yeah, networking works a lot in United States more than anywhere else. So network is the biggest suggestion everyone gave me when I stepped in US. So that's what I tell students as well.
I've just got one thing that I'd love to ask at this point. So you mentioned that you've done your bachelor's in management studies, right? I just want to know that how easy or how seamless was that shift for you when you moved from management to a technological course doing your master's, and what gave you strength to make that decision that, hey, you know what, I want to change my field, and the US is going to be open about it. So how has that transition been for you, and how easy was it for you to ease into it?
So There are two things. One is about me, about my career change is like something I wanted to do, get into project management, like irrespective of not having a background of it or work experience though. But I chose to do because the second part of US is it gives you the flexibility, it gives you the opportunity that you respective come from any background, but still you can pursue, still you can be master at it. So that's where US is open to welcome students. I can give you an example here. Actually, my brother has pursued the same Bachelor of Management Studies, but he's willing to come for a pilot training. I think this is impossible if he's staying back in India, but it is possible if he wants to pursue in US or Canada. So I think US welcomes you a lot with the opportunities. It gives you a freedom, like you can choose like what you want to pursue. Like you can even have a drastic career change, and that's okay. And it's just up. It's like, I think US gives you all the opportunities to yourself to choose your career, to make decisions. So I think that is one of the advantage I have taken, and I have landed today here. So I think that everyone can take, and it's not a risk factor actually. If you really want to do something, I think you will put on your efforts and eventually you will land there. Like I had put on efforts on certifications, and like I had to get a job. So
got that. The next thing I'd love to ask you is, when you made that final choice of going for MS project management and not a field which is has now become very stereotypically has become a norm that anybody who's opting for a new age field would want to go for analytics or cybersecurity or AI or so on and so forth. So how is that MSPM decision for you worked out over a course as an analytics or DS or CS?
I think this is very, like, according to me, like that's what I actually wanted to do maybe in project management. And I didn't want to get into too much of analytics as well. Sometimes project management has two sides, like non-technical and technical. So it depends on what you want to pursue actually. And more of, if I talk about technical side, still there are opportunities open. You can like transfer, like from BMS to you can do actually data science or business analytics, and you can transform your career. And once you finish a master degree, it gives you a value that you have learned certain tools. So eventually when you are in the interview, you are able to answer it. So if you are aiming for business analyst jobs, definitely you're going to get it, because the industry is very huge, very large.
Yeah, and I just want to know, so how has the decision of MSPM worked out for you? Has it broadened the set of employability that you can now look at? Or, how is the job market perceiving a degree as MSPM? Like you mentioned, there's both a tech side to it and a non-tech side to it. So yeah, one thing which I want to know is, whatever you've studied in MSPM, how much of that component was tech or SQL or Python or R, if at all? And if not, then what part of it was purely from a management standpoint?
So project management includes both. Actually, when you study the degree, it's both. And I understand you're asking me that project management was considered to be a certification course always, and now it's a degree, right? So how is that transition? But yeah, like if you see many MBA students, for example, they are doing PMP as a certification. So PMP is the base of Masters in Project Management. When you study everything. So you are well prepared to give a PMP certification or anything like of the project management certification. So that prepares you. So it's your decision if you want to pursue and get a depth knowledge, and then you want to make a career. There are still options in US. Like if you don't know certain tools, there are options out there where you can pursue certain tools, understand them, and still you have like project management career as well with the tools. So I think the transition from it being a certificate to a degree has been a major change actually, since if you see since 2 years or 3 years, there are too many project management students who want to enroll in project management and want to learn, because might be before there were no exposure of like project management can be a degree, can be a STEM degree considered, can be more technical. They just thought it was a certification, but now because of the awareness, students are ready to take it, and it has a good transition even in the job market. Like if you have done a project management, no one asks you for like, are you a certified associate project manager, because you have done a degree. So that's how it has its place.
Absolutely got that. Just for all of our learners or attendees to know, the course that Ms. Ganesh is largely talking about is a course from Clark University in Worcester. It's called the Master of Science in Project Management. We've got 2 more courses at Clark University and at large, about 100 courses in the US. And so the other 2 courses that we have at Clark are called Master of Data Analytics and Master of Information Technology. Now, when she's mentioned that there's both a tech aspect to it where you do programming languages or tools such as Python, SQL, or Power BI, W, and you study about linear regression, machine learning, all of that. Here's what upGrad does. We let you do those foundational or those core blocks in India through IIIT Bangalore. We've got a program called the Advanced Certificate Program in Data Science. From that, when you move to Clark, you get those tech courses waived off. So what you're essentially studying is what Ms. Ganesh mentioned, some part of the management side of it, some part of the PMP side of it. And of course, the other relevant tech subjects or courses that are due. So what I'm essentially saying is the complete duration of 18 months or 2 years of the US courses come down to 12 months with us. So you're saving almost a year of your living costs and a year of your tuition fee. That is what upGrad is doing. And I'd like to go back to her and ask her that if you started with her and you went to Clark having known these languages, these tools, machine learning 1, machine learning 2, deep learning, NLP, the concept of warehousing, BA, everything. How would your learning outcomes have changed?
Like, definitely I would have loved to take that. Like, why not? Like, certifications are very important because there's no awareness. I think back in India, we take it very lightly, but here certifications plays a major role. So if it's offered, then yeah, it's a really good opportunity. Like even for a technical or non-technical background, like you can choose like what you want beforehand, and then you go, and then it's just waived off. You don't have to spend again the much of time, spending on that. You can do something else which actually requires for the market, and you don't have to do that. So that actually saves a lot of time. Back then we didn't add such an option. We just add like, if we had an experience, it was waived off. If not, then we didn't add such option. But I think, yeah, anyone should do that. Like, I think because after coming here as a student and me doing an internship while they asked me for certification or something, that takes too much of time. It consumes time. It consumes too much of, it's a pressure actually, right? Like you have to do it. So sometimes I think it's better, like if these options are provided, I think every student should take benefit of it. And if the university is ready to waive off, then why not? It's like, yeah.
Absolutely, yes. I think whenever these guys do the foundation course from IIIT Bangalore, they actually have the option of going into 15 different universities for different types of courses. So we've largely tried to make it very democratized. I'm sure compared to Clark, I mean, so for all attendees to know, you still get an access to the same length of OPT like she was mentioning. So you still get an equal or equitable access to all campus jobs or OPT opportunities as a normal Clark student. So it's just that you spend lesser time on campus. But what that also means is you've got more time to spend working outside the campus once you've graduated. So over to you, and we'd love to know about your student experience at Clark, Ms. Ganesh.
Yeah. So I would like to talk about OPT and CPT, which is the biggest, I think, question for all the participants and students out there. So every student can take advantage of CPT, which is like once you finish your 2 semester, you can opt for CPT. And definitely sometimes you can come irrespective from any background. And if you have an certification, as Pranit said, that's like really an add-on point to your resume. That's what actually the recruiters look into. Yeah, you're certified. So one is that, and duration for OPT is 3 years. I don't know if the messages are like wrong out there, but it's 3 years. You definitely get 3 years, irrespective of you get H1B or not. If your program is STEM, definitely you're staying here for more than 3 years. And then, like as said, CPT, you can do it for until 9 months, and then you can transfer to OPT. So you are like staying at least for 4 years here, like after your master's. So in the meanwhile, you have a 3 chances for H1B. And if you get an H1B, H1B is a period for 6 years. So yeah, so there's no worry like such. And then I would like to talk about actually student opportunities. It's so not only for Clark, it's about like particularly in US. So what happens, many students come with too many hopes or things around that everything would be spoon feeded or everything would be given on the plate, but it's not the way US works actually. It's like you're pursuing a master's and you are very independent to take your own decisions and explore. So one is campus opportunities. Like every university has their website and they post every campus opportunities where you can apply. Before coming to US, you can actually schedule an interview with them and then give them like the interview. And if you're clear, they would definitely give you the offer letter as well. And there are volunteering options as well outside the campus. Like it's not only like it's your thing. Like if you want to go out and volunteer outside the campus, feel free to do it. Attend too many conferences. There are job conferences out there, community services, which really helps you to build your professional network and your contacts, which might help you to have a dream job even in 9 months. And engaging into any cities you live, and if you are engaging in the communities of the cities, like the clubs, and that helps a lot. I have done a lot of community service work, and I've engaged in most of the conference. I've been the ambassador for them and I've worked. And even if it's not paid, you feel free to do. I think that helps you a lot in future. It won't help you right away, but it really helps you a lot. And even in the university, I think engaging most in the clubs or, participating is very important actually in US, because you're here to do that. You're here to consume your time and know people and know their point of views and how everything works, because you're an international student. I think that might help you as well. And the last is obviously be in touch with your professors and deans. You never know, because all of them are working professionals. They are just not your professor who come to teach you. So you never know when they might give you a suggestion for an internship or a full-time job. And it has happened a lot even at Clark. Professors really, being in touch with professors, they really help you out. They personally tell that they have vacancy in their company if you want to do some internship or something. Or if sometimes they need to, you can do research papers with them. That is the more attractive part being a student, that helps you to gain too much of knowledge in your respective field.
I just wanted to reaffirm and reiterate what Ms. Ganesh just mentioned, that with different campus jobs at Clark or any university in the US, you can actually apply before you actually even go on campus. As soon as you're accepted, as soon as your visa is done, whenever you confirm that you're going, opportunities like graduate assistantship or TA or any other campus job can actually be applied to in advance. So you're pretty safe that way. Not every time is this a big risk that will I get, will I not get it? But what I also intend on saying is that look at campus jobs not as a means for your survival, but look at campus jobs as networking, as exposure, as a market experience of yourself. I mean, for yourself in the United States. And also, I think a lot of community service, a lot of networking with academic faculty, a lot of other engagement in clubs actually boosts your CV a lot. And I think as for my experience in the US, these things are really valued, and they really care that you made an effort to step outside that rigorous academia, and you did something more than what the usual cohort or your batch was trying to do all that while. So I think that's something that the US offers in plenty. I mean, we'd of course we'll go back to her with whatever you want to know in this field or in this regard. But I think this thing is extremely important when you're picking the US as a country for your higher education. Over to you, Ms. Ganesh.
Yeah, I wanted to add even one more point on campus. Actually, I myself got a job before I even reached US. So I applied before, I had an interview scheduled, and I received an offer letter before I reached US. So I think it happens. It's just you need to know like in which field you get into, and how is your resume looking for them. Like you just can't be like writing your just bachelor's, master's, and submitting it to them. Even they want to know like what are you bringing in the table. So that's something you can take care of it, and then like it's not impossible, but it is possible if you really want to get into something you're interested in.
Don't want to sort of sound too salesy about this, but genuinely, when you're going with the upgrad course, and you're applying for TA or GA, or you're helping your faculty as their assistant, which is of course a campus job. It's not something you're doing as a free service to them. It generally helps to have foundational skills already laid out for yourself: machine learning, different tools, concepts like NLP, concepts like deep learning, concepts like linear or logistical regression. The more you know these things, so when you go with the upgrad course already done, you're much more ahead of your general classroom any which way. The point I'm trying to make is you're much more vulnerable, much more likely to get a campus job, secure a better job compared to your peer group when you go from upgrad.
Why Clark? I can only talk about Clark because I'm a graduate student from there. So they are flexibility with the program options. Like if you see specifically School of Professional Studies as computer science, data analytics, IT, project management, public policy, communication. So they are actually flexible. So there'll be certain core courses which is compulsory, but the rest electives you can choose for your career, for the betterment of what is needed in the future. So for example, even if I'm from project management, if I've done with my core courses, and even if my courses are waived off and still I want to take a course from computer science, like I want to learn a tool from data analytics, still I can do that. And they are very flexible to this. And they are even flexible with the study structure. If you're really like you don't know about something, the professors are pretty flexible to make you understand and give you one-to-one session as well, because sometimes the students are limited in some classes and there's too much of attention which professor can invest in. And the scholarship options were really wide open when I got into Clark, and even for my friends. So I think, even still, if you have a good profile, they are definitely giving you a good scholarship. And internship opportunities are really provided by Clark. Sometimes if your profile is really good, there are career mentors over there who refer you to several companies, and you might land up a job or internship. And in my batch, some of them really got into it by career mentors. So I think that is something service. I think you should take it from Clark. And Clark is a really good career services, and mentors are really available for every department. So you will get your resume development, professional development, and mock interviews. Everything will be covered at the career services.
At this point, I just want to jump in and ask that after you got all the scholarships, how much did you actually end up paying for the entire degree?
Actually, I had a scholarship and I had a job, so I paid very less. So like comparatively to other students. So I don't remember the actual number.
As much as I understand, Clark SPS, the School of Professional Studies, the fee is about 32K, right?
Yeah.
And with the 30% scholarship, I'm assuming you paid close to about 21 or 22.
Yeah.
I'd love for all the attendees to know that when you actually go through the upgrad route, that 30% scholarship that Ms. Ganesh is mentioning is guaranteed to you. That's number one. But what's also done is you're saving about 6 credits worth of cost, which comes down to be about, with living costs combined, about close to 15 to 20 lakhs with living costs combined, I'm saying. Living cost side, I think it comes down about 8 or 9 lakhs, and another is, another is say 10 to 12 lakhs of 1 year living cost. So you're actually spending close to about $16,800 for your clerk degree, and another 2.5, 3 lakhs for the triple IT Bangalore course, which gives you a dual certification, of course. But your entire degree cost comes down to somewhere about 14.5 lakhs. Your American MSPM or MSDA degree comes down to about 14.5 lakhs. That's lesser than all IIMs, lesser than all IITs, lesser than ISB or any general high-ranked business or tech school. So that's the point that we're trying to make. And I will go back to Ms. Ganesh and actually implore her that, hey, we'd love to hear about the return on investment that you see from your clerk degree already.
And I like to add one more thing is like, actually Clark is very cheapest, like if in terms of funding, like everyone wants to save, and trust me, it saves you a lot of money. It's not, I'm not saying just because we have saved even on the housing expenses. It's really like, it's flexible, it's nice because it's close to Boston, but it's not in the Cambridge, so it's really affordable thing. I think you can save a lot of money, and even with on-campus opportunities, I don't think anyone have to ask parents for any more, funds. So that's something, I wanted to point out.
How much would the living cost be if these students are staying at Clark, Ms. Ganesh?
So sometimes I think it depends on their needs, but the rent cost is really flexible with $400 to $500. And and apart from that, it's their requirements, like how the lifestyle they want to live in. But mostly it ranges from 400 to 600. That's it, and a single bedroom. And even the food and cost, everything comes up to $700 or $800 might be, but not more than that. If you're, so the rent ranges from 400 to 600. That's for definite. So nothing, and you might even get a lesser than that. That's for sure, because I stayed for 350. Trust me.
Got that. And the internship that you're mentioning, is that what the CPT is, or is that a different concept than what normally students do on CPTs?
No, actually on campus is different. Like when you land a job or when you land into US, second internship is after the 2 semesters. So you get to do an internship, paid or unpaid, it's your choice. So you can do, go ahead. You can do internship for more 2 semesters. So sometimes people, like students, do it for 4 semesters. Like, you come here, do 2 semesters in US, and then you do 2-semester internship. So the internship actually depends on the students. And you can, while working outside, as doing an internship, you can still do on campus. Even there is an option.
Which is different to if they were applying for CPT, yes?
Which is different. CPT is internship.
Got that. So just for all of you to know, what Ms. Ganesh is largely mentioning is you've got an OPT, which is the optional practical training that you do at the end of your degree once. So you've got about 90 to about 120 days to find a job and then get placed. And the OPT for STEM degrees can go up to about 3 years, 1 plus 2. And a CPT is curricular practical training, which means that as soon as 2 semesters or 12 months of onshore studies are done, you can actually begin and pursue an internship, which in our case with upGrad, you don't actually have to, because you can just start working full-time right after. But what Ms. Ganesh was largely mentioning is up to 9 months, you can actually gain that hands-on experience before you enter the formal job market. Both ways, it's a win-win if you're getting a paid internship. If you're not getting a paid internship, you can always switch to your OPT. But the point is, it depends on each one of you, that how much readiness for the market do you have already, or how many skills you feel you need to gain before you actually raise that bar of your human capital. And then you feel that maybe I'll end up in a good job. So long story short, what I'm trying to say is that you get every single internship or job or academic opportunity as a regular Clark student, as you know, which you do with upGrad as well. Over to you, Ms. Ganesh. Also, I think the one of the highlights which you mentioned is Clark has a dedicated career mentor for each batch. Now, imagine India has a career placement cell for the entire university. And here, even if there's a batch of 60 or 70, there's one career mentor only for them, which understands every single persona, which understands, like she was mentioning, the resume building, interview preparation, general development for every single student. That is what she was saying. So that is how advanced these things are, I think, which is why the US and India are so much more different when it comes to outcomes of each degree. Over to you, Ms. Ganesh.
Yeah. So these are the departments at Clark. Like each department has their own on-campus opportunities and resume, like the career mentors as well. And like the most like the questions students have is housing, on-campus, student accounts, career centers. So we can talk a little about that. Like housing in Worcester is really affordable. There's jump off campus where we, like being an alumni, we have found a job through them. There are several properties as well we can reach out to, and it's not that difficult to find a job. And there are jobs as well. So as I said, campus jobs could be done only for 20 hours. Off campus is not allowed unless you don't have an authorization, CPT or OPT. So that's something you need to take care of. And as said, there are career services which helps you to build your resume, give you mock interviews. It helps you to develop your leadership skills. It even helps you. Sometimes some students want to pursue the certification, as Pranit said, like we were not offered before. So here you can like take the help of upGrad, but yeah, it gives you sometimes to let you know like which certification needs to done, because there are peer advisors for certain departments. And sometimes you can schedule one-to-one sessions as well for finding an internship opportunities. And because now after the COVID period, everything is open up. So there are several events going on at Clark, like for career related or for wellness related. So the campus is like lit for now. And yeah, these are the services the Clark University provides. They have the ISSO for the visa things, you have an accounts department, they have library, you have COVID testing protocols, there are dining available, and gym, part-time, there's an handshake, where you can look into part-time jobs. And there is a escort services as well, where within certain mile, they'll drop you home wherever you are, whenever you are. So there'll be a certain timings and it's free. And that's it. And yeah, this is the one of Worcester where you can eat the close by ones. There are Indian and other cuisines as well you can try.
We've got a lot of questions waiting for you, just so you know.
Yeah, I think, yeah, we are like done with the Clark part.
Just so you guys know, when you actually go to the US and you end up at Clark, you will meet her, or she will be of assistance any which way. I'm sure that you can always reach out to her. But yes, at this point, we've got lots of questions that I want to take right now. So here's what I think. Number one thing that you've all asked is, what is the criteria? So anyone having a 4 so number one, there is no work experience required, story finished. If you're a techie, which means, so if you're a 4-year bachelor's degree holder, you've got to have at least 66% marks. And your degree should be from a NAC A or A+ university only. If not, then we'll have to specifically get your case approved. But need not worry, because as long as you want to do PM, or if you want to do DA, which is data analytics, or IT or CS, we've got multiple universities who will accept you any which way. The base program is anyway similar. Now, if you've got a 3-year bachelor's degree, you should have at least 60% marks. Now, the US, and I'm sure Ms. Ganesh would agree with me here, is very strict about backlogs. So in a 4-year degree, you can just have 6 backlogs. In a 3-year degree, you can just have 4 backlogs. That's CLOC's eligibility criteria. Now, you have to be from a Bachelor of Science, a Bachelor of IT, or Bachelor of Computer Applications, or any Bachelor of Engineering background for the most part. If you're a business student like Ms. Ganesh was, or I mean, used to be, you would need to have relevant work experience in the field of which course you're applying for. For example, in the case of project management, PM experience. In the case of analytics, some amount of data science or data analytics or business intelligence relevant experience. In which case, the IITB course helps. It's the most relevant thing you can do. It's a part of the major or the core modules anyway. But even despite that, you need to have at least some background of which you're coming from. You can't just work from BA degree to PM. Yeah, it wouldn't work that way. So I'm hoping I've answered you. Of course, IELTS is what you need. You need 6.5, and that goes unsaid. Is only OPT available for upgrad students? No. So CPT is curricular practical training. That is an internship that you do outside of campus. But CPT is only after 12 months of studies onshore. Now, because you're with Clark, with upgrad, you do 12 months of study, you can go for a CPT. CPT is an internship, which Ms. Ganesh mentioned can or cannot be unpaid. Can or cannot be paid. But remember, upgrad students have a direct access to OPT because after 12 months, they're done with the degree. But a student like Ms. Ganesh, who's starting from campus on day 1, cannot be done with a degree in 12 months. She has to spend at least 1 more term to actually finish. So she has a CPT option, which she can't actually weigh or factor in compared to OPT, because OPT is not for her at that point. It's a CPT. But for you, there is OPT available. So nobody takes it, right? Why would you go for CPT when you have OPT available? But I think I'd love to go back to Ms. Ganesh and ask her that does CPT have a limit on the number of hours that they work?
Yeah, they do. Like you need to work either for 20 hours, and in your offer letter, it should be mentioned that it's an internship. Or you need to have you have to be finished all the courses. Like, for example, if you have 10 courses, you need to be finished in 2 semesters, 9 courses. And if you have 1 course left for the 3rd semester, you can take internship as 40 hours. Otherwise, you can't. So internship is it's not impossible, but it's possible at certain point, but it needs to put too much of efforts it takes, because it needs to give you the interviews have to give you an offer letter, and then you get the authorization. So, yeah.
Thanks, Ms. Ganesh. I think that does help. How much GPA? So in the IITB ACP, which is the Advanced Certificate Program in Data Science, you need to have at least 3 GPA out of 4. So the US works on a 4 GPA scale, and you need to have 3 at least to get to Clark University. Can you help us, or how to crack USA F1 interview? I don't think she's the right person. I also don't think we can talk about it on a live space, which is hosted on YouTube. Yeah, not the best thing to talk about here. But of course, just so you know, when upgrad helps students, we normally assist you in ensuring that we guide you towards the right course. If we feel that you're not going to be able to prove to the university that your transition is relevant, then we'll move you to a course which we feel matches your aspirations, matches your background. And anyway, visa is never an issue if you're coming from the right background. And in fact, visa becomes easier. So visa is never about luck at this point. Visa is about how genuine and how authentic the connection is between your background and what you want to do and your aspirations with it, right? And I think when you do the IIIT Bangalore course, you're actually able to get a decent amount of foundational skills, which when I asked Ms. Ganesh that, hey, what do you think that had you done Python, machine learning, deep learning, NLP, all of that, you would have been much better off, commencing your studies at Clark. Yes, right? So which means you're halfway there. You're more eased into the academic readiness. And I think I can go back to her and ask her that how is the general rigor at Clark when it comes to academics? I mean, how challenging or hard do you think?
It's like, it's not that challenging or hard, being honest, but it's like US is very strict about plagiarism. That's something students need to take care of it. So you need to do your own work. You copy paste it, you'll eventually get caught because there is a system that tracks you for everything, which is not done eventually in India a lot. But when you step in here, it's that. So it might sound for students very hard at the beginning, but it's actually not when you start writing your own coursework. So in academics wise, it's totally individual choice, like how much efforts they are ready to put in or time they are ready to invest in, so that, you do your coursework and you don't get caught in this plagiarism, which is taken very seriously in the United States.
Thanks, Krithika. Is it mandatory to have 3 GPA to get admission for master in US?
Well, yeah, actually depends on the university, right? And if upGrad is providing if they have this thing, so it totally depends on which university you want to pursue and their criteria.
Sometimes I think what is also important during university selection is there are some subjects in your degree which are extremely important to where you want to go in your masters. And if you score high in them, but your general average may be a little low, universities do give you the chance. And with a course like IIITB, you can always cover up and have a complete student profile, so to say, to advance into a course. But yeah, if you're 40%, then nobody can help you actually. But I mean,
yeah, that's what you're just putting in efforts, right? In any course you just want to pursue ahead. It's like, yeah.
Thanks, Krithika. While we start an MS in foreign universities, can we pick up an internship simultaneously there? Well, for the most countries you can, but in the US, like she mentioned, 12 months and after, you can do it. But I think what Ms. Ganesh can also be asked, and I'm assuming that's what you want to know, that what other opportunities are available for technical or research-based skill development while they're studying? So do you have more student opportunities at Clark?
Yeah, they do. Actually, they do have, you can do several research papers with those professors. You can even get into research assistant jobs, which helps you to, get more into technical background and learn for your future job. So yeah, it helps you in some way.
Thanks, Krithika.
Yeah.
So I think, is it possible for you to take us back to the slide where you had shown us that what are the different student opportunities at Clark?
Yeah, sure.
I also want to let these guys know that the US spends billions of dollars every year to run market-driven research projects in different universities, and Clark is one of them. So a lot of research is market-driven, is industry-driven, and is available for you students to be a part of. And I think the US is a country that's at the helm of technological innovation, that's at the helm of tech hotspot, that's at the helm of change in the world. And I think that's the sort of market, that's the sort of industry that anyone would yearn to go in for. I think that's what Ms. Ganesh was largely mentioning, that you've got so many different student opportunities, and that's why she chose US. And of course, it depends on why you would like to choose this. So there's another question, Ms. Ganesh, of the many that we have. I'm interested for MS project management, but I've got 40% in graduation. Oops. 40% in graduation? How is that 3 GPA out of 4? 40% cannot be 3 GPA out of 4. But I think 40%, nobody will take you, but if you've got a decent amount of work experience, it's a case-by-case thing that I may not be able to assure. And also, Ms. Ganesh is not a counselor. So I think what I'll tell you is I'm putting my email address on the chat box. You can always write to me, but I don't want to push her to answer things that what is the right course for you. I'd love to here's what I'd like to ask her. So for all of these students that you knew at Clark, right, who were studying or who were your seniors, whether they were doing data and analytics or project management or IT, how much did you see their starting salaries go as high as? And which sort of companies used to come at Clark for a fair or for networking or for research?
Actually, at those times, it was a COVID period. So everything was shut where there were no such fairs conducted. But I've heard before that there were too many fairs happening, as Clark is very famous for the geography department as well. So there are many recruiters as well as they are coming, because I can share you my experiences. Like, I was a president for graduate student council at Clark for several departments, and several department deans and other board of directors have their own companies. So they actually recruit students from Clark if you're in a good touch with the deans and other, if you're networking. So that helps you a lot at Clark if you network with the proper things. Yeah.
Thanks, Krithika. What is the duration of summer holidays and when we're doing 1-year masters?
Summer holidays, yeah, it's actually optional. Like, if you want to take a course, you can still take a course, or else I think it's from May mid to June end or July end or something. Yeah.
Well, Gaurav, I think my advice to you is, look, you're paying for the living costs, and the US gives you an option to not take the summer break and finish courses during that time. You're paying to live there anyway, so might as well just finish your course, get run in 12 months and out of the job market, and then you can chill every day. I mean, you've got to work, but at least during the 12 months, save as much cost as you can, because living in the US is not easy. I am sure that Ms. Ganesh has given you good enough hopes that, yeah, living costs are okay, but okay would mean relatively okay compared to New York or Boston, but it's still costing you every single day, right? So save that time. And while if you're looking for summer break, I think if your question was intended that can we work during that time, no, you can't. Unless you finish 12 months, you can't take an internship. Yes, you can work on campus like she was. That you can do from day one. And you can even apply before you start. So with us, you've got 8 months when you're doing the Triple ID Bangalore course. And you can, of course, apply during those 8 months. And also, I just wanted you guys to know that we've now got onshore support. So we've got our first batch at Clark University of about 20 students who started studying. So they finished their 1-year course, and now they moved to Clark, and we'll have another 100 students going in the spring intake, which is Jan 2023. And you still have an access to them. So if you want to talk to them about how life is at Clark and how did they cover the Indian coursework, please feel free to reach out to me. My email address is in the chat box, and I get you connected to them. So they've, even if you start now and if you move into Clark in September, you will have almost 300 students in the US from upGrad. So that will mean a huge network. We'll also have an Alum Connect service soon. So you can, you're at a much more ease of starting a Clark as you would normally. What are the career opportunities for me as I'm going to pursue BBA in business information systems? Would this degree help me in making a startup company forward? Ms. Ganesh, I think what I'd like to ask you is, do you have anyone in your network who had, who stepped on the path of entrepreneurship?
Yeah, I do have friends in my network. But here's the thing, challenging, like, what happens when you're a student, you're coming for a F1, and then you're saying that you'll be working in the field of study. So it's different starting up a job here. You can do it back in India. Like, for example, if I want to start up a company, I can do it back in India unless I don't have a proper visa status here to do a job, to do a company. I'm not able to. So that's very clear US is about.
Thanks. So on an OPT, they cannot have.
Yeah, they can work, they can network, and they can come up with something once, they have their H1B and, it's just the visa works. So it depends on their status. Like they can, of course, they can have a company here, but yeah, it depends on their visa status. Like,
got that, Ms. Ganesh. Will they be able to provide work to every student? I think she means for part-time within the campus. I don't think that's the case. I think you have to be able, you have to be skilled, you have to be better than everybody else who's applying for the job, like any other regular job. I think we can go back to Ms. Ganesh and ask her which specific skills helped her get that job. But in teaching assistantship or graduate assistantship, you need to be on the top of your game with the subject. I think that is the only option. But again, I'm not the expert. I can go back to her and ask her, in her experience, whoever got the TA, GA, campus semester job like yourself, what extra skills did you have? Apart from the fact that you're super smart, but what else?
I was super active. Like I wanted a job. So something like you have to invest your time. Like, of course, in searching, like what are the openings, reaching out to your connections, reaching out to the alumni, like if they can help you out in some way, letting you know how the interview can be, how can you approach to the professors or dean. And teaching assistantship comes only after one semester, because you need to have an experience in that subject. So they definitely, if you have a good GPA and you are very well known of the studies, they definitely give you the teaching assistantship. And other campus job is just like as finding a job. You submit your resume and you go for the interview. You need to have the skills what is mentioned in the job description. We're not able to hear you.
Oh yeah, I was on mute. If it's just 1 year of masters, it will take time to get adjusted there. Also, you'll have to land a job within 3 months of graduation. We'll have to move back to India. How is the probability of landing a job within 3 months of graduation in data analytics stream? I think just so you know, data science is one of the most coveted skill set in the world. And I don't think anyone knowing that will be jobless, but I can still go back to Ms. Ganesh and ask her how many students in her experience of MSDA got placed as soon as they finish it.
Actually, they get placed. There are too many job openings for data analysts, being very honest. So once you have an experience and you know about the tools and you have like back there, you are definitely gonna get a job if you invest your time. It's just like how you network, how you apply to the jobs, how many jobs you apply, and how do you crack the interview. Like no one can assure you like you will definitely get a job. Like you have to invest yourself in getting a job. That's how it is.
Thanks, Krithika.
So, but everyone from my batch in data analytics, most of them got the job first beforehand we got it. So yeah.
And what were your starting salaries like, Ms. Ganesh? I'm sorry.
Yeah, like it actually depends, but mostly it depends on the state wise in US, like which state you are in. So there will be certain range that they have to give you. So it starts mostly from 80K to 100K, and more than that, it depends on the experience.
80K to 100K?
Yeah.
Everybody, 60K is what you pay and about 80K is what you earn. So that's about 5 times, exact 5 times the return. I think we answered almost everything, and thank you so much for that. What are the best courses for MS in computer science? The best course is MS computer science. So computer science is a family course. It's an umbrella course. You can extrapolate or extract cybersecurity from it. You can extract machine learning, AI. You can extract DS from it. So there are certain tools or languages that you can learn computer science. And of course, they're relevant to initial foundation coursework of data science. But I think computer science with us, we've got about 7 different courses that you can take up. Remember that I told you that the foundation of advanced certificate in data science from IIIT Bangalore is that foundation thing that you do, after which you can enter multiple things, right? I think the last question, I'm sorry, Ms. Ganesh, but yeah, no. In all honesty, I'm just supposed to ask you everything which is relevant. How much coursework is helping in your current job? And I know you use all tools in your job, right?
Yeah, actually it helped me a lot. Like because of I had always had a professor connect. He took for example, he took my risk management course, which really helps me even today, and I'm in connect with them. So that actually helps you. Like sometimes you need to be really focused on what you're learning, because that's what is you'll be doing at your job as well. So you don't have to put extra work after, getting a job if you're learning when you're studying. So yeah, it helped me.
Thanks, Krithika. I think that is the end of all questions. Thank you so much once again. And I think I'm absolutely grateful to you. I couldn't have been happier with how the entire space went. I think, in my experience, the more questions that are asked, that always means that the space is really effective, and they're able to internalize the vulnerability that they can ask, which means they can relate to you as a normal student, make it, trying to make it work, trying to, work hard to build her life in the United States. I think that this absolutely proves and is a big reflection of your story. Out of BA and data science, which is best? I think data science as an umbrella, it's a huge ocean, and BA, DA, data warehousing, data mining are drops in that ocean. So, you know, it depends on what the coursework is and what your aspirations are. But I can go back to Miss Ganesh as actually the final one.
Yeah, right.
How do you rationalize or explain that when should we pick up a course called Masters in Data and Analytics? When do we pick up MS in Business Analytics? And when do we pick up Masters in AI? When do we pick up Masters in Data Science? What is the major difference in all four of them?
So first is the requirements. You need to check like what are the universities offering the requirements. Like are you okay to fit into it? And sometimes if you see data and science comparatively to data analytics as too much of technical things, right? But you compare the same with business analytics to data analytics has too much of technical. So it just depends on the coursework. You can go to the website and you can check like what exactly you want to learn, and are you eligible to take that degree is what matters first. And in the way you can differentiate with the job roles you want to pursue in the career in future. Business analytics, more they get into business analyst, and you want to be a business analyst in the business sides. Data analytics more about getting into data coding as more effective. So that's how they can differentiate on what they want to pursue ahead in their career with the course they want to do in master's degree.
Thank you. I think that answers almost everything. So I have put my email address down. This my first name, which is Praneeth, my last name, which is Singh at upGrad.com. If you got any questions for Krithika, you can add her on LinkedIn, but don't spam her. Yeah. Just ask her relevant things. And of course, when you enter our or upGrad's funnel, we will or can possibly connect you to her whenever you're trying to make that final decision. It's a proper formal session that you can hold with her, and you can go one-on-one and ask her things that helped her. I wish you guys good luck. My colleague Arushi will just post a message for all our bachelor's, master's courses. Feel free to explore them. We've now got a large portfolio in the United States, and you can pretty much pick anything. For MBA, which is STEM MBA also, and for MS, data science, cybersec, AI, computer science, project management, IT, so many different things in so many different universities across the United States. A standard master's degree in the US could be about 35, 40, 45 lakhs. And with us, it comes down to about 15 lakhs. That is the major value proposition that we're giving you, but also the end-to-end support in almost everything. And you don't have to quit your job. For 1 year, you can keep your job and do the coursework, and then finally move to the United States. Before you move, you can then quit your job. But until then, you can just keep on working for that 1 year. Wish you guys good luck. Our batches start on 30th September, and we'd love to hear from you. Thank you once again, Ms. Ganesh. I think it's an absolute pleasure hosting you. Any final word, any valedictory note for the students?
Yeah, actually, I wanted to tell like three things. One is like you like definitely opt for STEM programs if you want to stay back in US for a certain period of time. And second is network that is everything here, I guess. Build your profile, build your resume, build your LinkedIn, build your Glassdoor accounts. And that all it works, and it definitely works. It's not impossible here. It's everything is possible. It's just like US gives you opportunities for everything. It's just you choose like what you really want. Are you here just for partying? Are you here just for studies? Are you here just to open a company? It has opportunities for everything. So you choose your club here. It's like no one chooses anything for you. No one advises you for anything. It's your decision. So my suggestion is definitely network, and it will definitely reach you at certain point and will help you out. That's it.
Absolutely. I think even in the US or outside of it, your networking skills are actually very, very, very imperative. I think sometimes I don't think that we're in that world anymore where you just put your head down and you'll keep on working hard and you can actually expect everyone to take note. No, it does not work that way anymore. I think you have to know when to market and where to market yourself and when to be seen. And you have to grab the right opportunities, the right stage, the right platform in which you actually go market yourself. I think it's important to be seen. That is why personal branding is more important now than ever before. And I think LinkedIn is where it starts, actually. And then, of course, you're lucky if you become the campus ambassador, then everybody knows you. You're lucky if you get to the student council of a university and then everybody knows you. But not everybody is lucky because it's only for one person. But for the rest, you've got to make it work. Too much gyan for the day. I think I wish you guys good luck.
Yeah, I wish you all the best and be excited to come to US.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thanks, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.